So welcome to another session on engineering mechanics. In this session, let's learn the concepts of principle of transmissibility. So if you want to replace a force by means of another force, how we can replace that? So we can learn that concept by using principle of transmissibility. We can do that by using principle of transmissibility and Lami's theorem. So this is a theorem which is quite similar to triangle law of forces, but there is a difference. What is that? Let us see in the class, right? In the session. And Newton proposed three laws, right? So let us discuss those laws and they are relevant to this particular course. And the concept of free body diagram. So in this session, let us go through these concepts, right? First, let us start with principle of transmissibility. So principle of transmissibility is nothing but a concept which we use if we want to replace a force by another force. How we can do that? Let's see. So consider a plane area. Okay. So this is the area. So I didn't consider any regular area. Just I have considered an irregular area, right? In this area, I have considered 2 points. One is A, another one is B. So me కనిపించాలని కొంచెం point size ఎక్కువ పెట్టా. Okay. And let us consider that from point A, there is a force acting P in this direction. Now, I would like to replace this force which is acting at point A here in this direction by means of other force at point B. How I can do that? Let us see. So for doing that, what I will do is, so I will consider the same figure, just I have considered the same figure, right? So and from A, whatever may be the force acting here, so I did represent the same force. We have another characteristic which is not described characteristic of force, right? What is that? So I told you there are three characteristics for force. And one of the characteristic is not a prescribed characteristic, that is fourth characteristic. What is that one?
Line of action.
Very good, line of action. So if we extend this force in both the directions, what do we get? We get line of action. So here I did represent the line of action here in red color line, right? So the line of action of the force P passes through the point B, right? So when we consider a mathematical equation, suppose if we add 5 to that and if we subtract 5 from that, will there be any change in that? So మనం ఒక 5 యాడ్ చేసి 5 సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తే ఏం డిఫరెన్స్ ఉండదు కదా, లైక్ దట్. సో ఫ్రమ్ పాయింట్ బి వాట్ ఐ విల్ డూ ఇస్ I will consider a force P in this direction and another force P in this direction. How these two forces are? They are equal in magnitude. This is P, this is P. Opposite in direction. So this is acting in this direction and this is in opposite direction. They are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and collinear in action. So that means these are in equilibrium, right? These are in equilibrium. So I did add two forces which are in equilibrium here, right? And they are in same line. If you observe, all these three forces are in same line, right? Suppose let us consider in this direction force P is positive. So that means this force P is positive, this force P is negative, this force P is positive, right? So this plus P and this minus P, can I cancel?
Yes, sir.
So I can cancel. So this plus P and this minus P. When I cancel those, what will happen? Only the force at B will exist there, right? So what I have done initially, I have considered a force at A and I did replace that one by means of a force which is at B, right? So here, if you observe, these two forces are equal in magnitude, okay, and same in direction. So they are same in direction and along this force, okay, the replaced force is along the line of action of the actual force. The actual force is at this point A in this direction, right? So when we replace that one by means of another force, so that force will be along the line of action of the replaced force. So this is nothing but principle of transmissibility, which states that a force can be replaced by other force, okay, which is of same magnitude, direction, and along the line of action of the replaced force. So you can replace any force, whatever may be the magnitude, whatever may be the direction, but you need to remember this concept. So you can replace that force by means of the same force. So it should be having same magnitude, same direction, and along the line of action of the replaced force. So these three things you need to remember while replacing a force. So this concept will be useful. So when we are resolving a force, you may not resolve at that point. Later you can transfer that force, right? So at that context, it will be useful, right? Is it clear principle of transmissibility?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go for another concept. Lami's theorem. Okay, so when we learn parallelogram law of forces, there we have seen the parallelogram law of forces is meant for only when there are two forces and when there is a necessity of calculating resultant. And when we consider triangle law of forces is also used when there are two forces and when there is a necessity of calculating resultant, right? When we consider method of projections, it can be used for any number of forces. So you can resolve any number of forces. Later you can find sigma fx, sigma fy. There you can use r is equal to square root of sigma fx whole square plus sigma fy whole square. So like that, each and every method has its own limitations, its own considerations, right? So when we consider Lami's theorem, so this theorem you can use only when there are three forces. Okay, how many number of forces?
Three forces.
Three forces.
So only when there are three forces, and that too, those three forces should be under equilibrium, right? So this is the context you need to apply Lami's theorem. When there are three forces and that too those three forces are in equilibrium, then only you can apply Lami's theorem, right? So this is the statement for Lami's theorem. If a body is in equilibrium under the action of three forces, each force is proportional to sine of the angle between other two forces, right? So let us understand the definition clearly. So I am considering three forces. If you observe P, Q, R are the three forces. Here R is not a resultant force, just it is a force. Okay, there are three forces and let us consider the angles between these Q and R. So let us consider the angle between these two forces as alpha and the angle between P and R as beta and the angle between Q and P as gamma. Okay, so I have considered the angle between these three forces as shown in figure. So now when we consider the statement, so there exist three forces here and each force is proportional to sine of the angle between other two forces. So when we consider force P here, this is force P, right? So when I consider force P, what will be the remaining two forces? Q and R, right?
Yes.
Is it right? What is the angle
sir.
between Q and R?
Alpha.
Alpha. So P is directly proportional to what? Sine alpha,
Sine alpha.
right? So every force is proportional to sine of the angle between other two forces. So here the angle between other two forces Q and R is nothing but alpha. So therefore P is directly proportional to sine alpha. So we can replace this proportionality by means of a constant, right? So I'm replacing this proportionality by means of a constant K. So P equal to K sine alpha, right? So I did consider constant K. So P is equal to K sine alpha. So from that, what is the value of K? P by sine alpha, right?
P by sine alpha.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. So now let us consider the second force Q. So Q is the second force. When I consider the Q, what will be the remaining two forces? P
P
and
and
R. What is the angle between those two?
beta.
Beta. So here I did represent in green color, right? So Q is directly proportional to what? Sine beta.
Sine beta.
So when I replace this one proportionality, okay,
With K.
by means of a constant, so it will be like this. Q is equal to K sine beta. From that, what is the value of K?
Q by sine
Q
beta.
by
Sine beta,
Sine beta.
right? Okay. Next, let us consider the third force. So when I consider the third force R, so the remaining two forces will be P and Q. The angle between
Q.
those two is gamma.
Gamma.
Okay. So R is directly proportional to what? Sine gamma.
Sine gamma.
So
Sine
let us
gamma.
replace this proportionality by means of a constant.
K.
So R is equal to K sine
K
gamma.
sine gamma.
From that, what is the value of K?
R by sine gamma.
R by sine gamma. So if you consider these things, all are equal to k, right? So p by sine alpha is equal to k, and q by sine beta is equal to k, and r by sine gamma is also equal to k, right? So if these are equal, so then these three also equal, right? So I can write the statement like this: p by sine alpha is equal to q by sine beta equal to r by sine gamma. Okay, so whenever there exist three forces and those three forces are under equilibrium, so then I can use this theorem, which is Lami's theorem. So suppose if one of the force is unknown, R is unknown, so I can find using this relation. Suppose if alpha is unknown, so I can equate any two, so then I can find the unknown, right? So you can find the unknown angle or unknown force using these relations whenever there exist three forces, and that too those three forces are under equilibrium. So we have seen graphical condition for triangle law forces, right? So when they are equilibrium, how they will be. So here I have told that there are three forces and they are in equilibrium. Let us check whether these three forces will form a closed triangle or not. So how is P in this direction, right? Let us draw P first. So I have drawn P like this. And if you observe Q, how it is in this direction, right? So without changing magnitude and direction, I will represent Q. And how is the force R? Vertical, right? So R is like this. So if you observe this triangle, it is a closed triangle. That means these three forces are under equilibrium. If you want to check whether the given force system is under equilibrium or not, just you can draw a polygon. Okay. If there are three forces, you can draw a triangle. If there are more than three forces, you can draw a polygon in order to check whether they are under equilibrium or not. So just we have checked the graphical condition, right? And you need to remember this relation: p by sine alpha is equal to q by sine beta equal to r by sine gamma. This relation holds good even for triangle law forces. Even if R is the resultant, so this relation will work out. Why? Because so here our consideration is force is proportional to sine of the angle, right? So even if R is in opposite direction, it will work out for triangle law forces, right? Is it clear? Lami's theorem.
Sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Shall we proceed to next concept?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So Newton's three laws, let us go through those three laws. So this is a statement for first law. So most of you know this statement, all the three statements you know. So what is Newton's first law? So whenever you consider an object, okay, the object will remain in the state of rest until unless you apply a force, right? So until unless you apply a force, the object will be in the state of rest. Suppose if there is a football, so that will be in the state of rest until unless you kick, right? Suppose if there is a vehicle going, moving on the road, until unless you apply force with the help of brake, it will be in motion, right? So that's the statement. So Newton first law states that every body continues to be in a state of rest or in uniform motion unless until it is compelled to change the state by means of force acting on it. So in order to change the state, you need to apply force. If it is in the state of rest, if you want to change it to motion, you need to apply force. If it is in uniform motion, if you want to change the state, you need to apply force. So this is the concept for Newton's first law. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see Newton's second law. So when we consider Newton's second law, so this law is widely used even for dynamics. Okay, for most of the cases, this law will be used. And there is one scientist, D'Alembert, who modified this law, and he named it as D'Alembert's law. First, let us see Newton's second law. D'Alembert's law is there in fifth unit. Okay, just it is a small modification. Let us discuss that one also. So when we consider Newton's second law, uh, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to impressed force. When we consider momentum, okay, momentum is nothing but product of mass and velocity. The rate of change of momentum means nothing but d by dt of mv. Okay, d by dt of mv is directly proportional to f, right? Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Momentum means mv, product of mass and velocity. And when we consider rate of change of momentum means it is varying with respect to time, nothing but d by dt of mv. So when we do that, mass is constant, right? So with when time t equal to 0, when time t equal to 100 seconds, when time t equal to 200 seconds on 300 seconds, it won't change. Mass won't change, right? So mass will be constant. So dv by dt, what is that?
Acceleration.
Acceleration. So d by dt of mv will become ma, right? So that ma is directly proportional to impressed force. So when we replace that proportionality and we will give it a unit constant, so then the equation will become F is equal to ma, right? So the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to impressed force. Suppose ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఏదైనా ఉంది, సో మీరు రైట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ నుంచి ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేస్తే, సో ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసారో సో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కూడా ఆ డైరెక్షన్ లోనే మూవ్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కి సో మనం ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఫోర్స్ ఇస్తున్నామో సో అదే పాత్ ఫాలో అవుతుంది కదా. సో దట్స్ ద స్టేట్మెంట్ హియర్. సో ద ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కంటిన్యూస్ టు మూవ్ ఇన్ విచ్ ద ఫోర్స్ ఈస్ ఇంప్రెస్డ్ in the direction in which the force is impressed. So this is Newton's second law, which states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the impressed force and the object continues to move in the direction in which the force is impressed. Is it clear or any doubts?
No doubts.
Okay. So let's proceed to third law. So it is very simple. So everyone knows it, right? So Newton's third law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone give me an example for this one? For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction.
A ball towards the wall.
Yes, very good. So when you throw a ball towards the wall, what will happen? What is action? What is reaction?
It will react with same force.
Yes, very good. So throwing the ball, yes, yes, tell me. Okay, so throwing the ball onto the wall is action. Okay, and getting the ball from the wall with the same amount of speed is nothing but reaction, right? So for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Suppose assume that you are sitting in a bench and you are in the corner. Suppose if your friend pushes you, what will happen? So just you are going to get off from the bench, right? You are going to fall down. So that is the action. So when you fall down, what will you do? Just you will shout, right? So that is the reaction. Like that, it applies to every context. Whatever may be the context, you can use this one. So here, this law we are going to use a lot of times in our course. So this is very important. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So let's discuss about reaction. When can we have the reaction? When do we have the reaction? Yes.
When one action takes place.
When there is action, there will be reaction. It's okay. So here, what happens in our engineering mechanics is we have the concept called free body diagram. So there, this will play a vital role. Drawing reaction, okay, or reaction force is very important. Okay. So this is a statement what we have seen Newton's third law. Okay. So when do we need to represent reaction? Suppose assume that there is a human being standing on the ground. Okay, he can move in left hand side direction, he can move in right hand side direction, he can jump in upward direction towards the sky. Okay, he can move in all directions except in one direction. What is that?
Upward.
Upward he can move, right? So there is no restriction, right? So he can move upward. So there is a direction he can jump. So he can move left hand side direction, he can move right hand side direction. He can't move in
Downward direction.
downward direction. Why? Because there is floor. So there is a restriction, right? So when there is a restriction, we can't move there, right? So what we need to do is, so whenever you see an object in engineering mechanics, you need to assume the directions. So is it capable of moving in left hand side direction? Is it capable of moving in right hand side direction? Is it able to move in upward direction? Is it able to move in downward direction? Likewise, you need to analyze the things. suppose if you are able to understand a object is not able to move in downward direction, there what you need to represent is a reaction in the opposite direction. Whenever there is a restriction, there you need to represent a reaction in the opposite direction. And if you observe, always the reaction is perpendicular to the surface. Whatever may be the surface, whether it is inclined one or horizontal one, always the reaction should be perpendicular to surface, and this is very important. So if you want to draw free body diagram without any error, so you need to represent the real forces acting on it as well as the reaction forces acting on it, right? So when you want to represent a reaction, you need to observe what are the restrictions there. So is it capable of moving along positive x, positive y, negative y? So you need to analyze all those. If it is not able to move along negative y, so then you need to represent a reaction in the opposite direction and perpendicular to surface. This one you need to remember, it is very important, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's go to the concept of free body diagram. Before that, let us see space diagram. What is space diagram? So whenever you want to draw free body diagram, there should be a condition given, right? So that condition will be mentioned in the figure. So that figure is called as space diagram. So what is this space diagram will contain is the context of the problem and the conditions, what are the forces acting on it, what are the dimensions of that particular object. So all those things will be mentioned in the space diagram. The problem, what the figure, what is given in the problem, that one we call it as space diagram. Okay, it is nothing but sketch. Okay, it is a sketch showing the physical conditions. So here there is a ball. Okay, and another ball is acting over it, right? So this is nothing but physical condition of these two balls, and it is enclosed in a channel like this, right? So here, if you observe at point A, it is not able to move in the left hand side direction. This roller is not able to move in left hand side direction. So when we consider point B, so this roller is not able to move in downward direction. This ball is not able to move in downward direction. At point C, there is a restriction. So here the roller on the so this direction move avaledu. So we need to understand the restrictions as well as the real forces acting on it. So when we consider weight, so always weight do acts vertically downwards, right? So we need to represent all the forces. So here the same case with the ladder here. So this is ladder, AB is the ladder, so which is leaning on a wall like this. A man is going to climb onto the ladder. So here you can see physical conditions and the restrictions also. Here at point A, the ladder is in contact with the floor, and here at point B, the ladder is in contact with the wall. So if you observe at point B, the ladder can slide vertically upwards or vertically downwards, but not into the ladder, right? Along positive x, it can't move, right? But at negative x, but in negative x direction, it can move at point B, right? So similarly, when we consider at point A, it can move along positive x, negative x. Positive y also it can move, but not in negative y. So you need to consider the conditions from the given figure, and that figure we call it as space diagram, right? Is it clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Let us go to the concept of free body diagram. As the name indicates, a free body diagram, it is the diagram of the body obtained by removing all the surface contacts. We are going to make the body free from all the surface contacts, and whenever you remove a surface, you need to replace that surface, right? So whenever you remove the surface, you need to replace that surface by means of a reaction. Okay, by means of a reaction, and that reaction should be perpendicular to surface, normal to surface, and that should be acting in the opposite direction. So you need to consider restrictions as I told you in the earlier case here. So here at point A, the ladder is not able to move in downward direction. So you should remove this contact. So ikkada horizontal ga black color lo unnadi remove chesi. So we need to represent a vertical reaction upwards, right? So it will consist of the real forces and reaction forces. Real forces means the forces which are acting really. So that means weight. Weight will act vertically downwards on the object, and there may be other forces like tensile force or compressive force. So tensile force means the force will be acting away from the object, and compressive force means the force will be acting towards the object. So it consists of real forces and reaction forces. So if you are good at drawing free body diagram, I can guarantee you, okay, you can solve any problem from the complete course. So that much important concept it is. Free body diagram is very important concept. Why? Because it is not limited to only this particular unit. So it is useful in unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5, unit 6. Throughout the course, we are using this concept. That much importance it has. Okay. And even I will tell you one thing. If there is a question for 10 marks, okay. If there is a question for 10 marks, if you are capable of drawing the free body diagram for the given figure, then you will get 50% of marks. Okay. Half of the marks are for writing equations and solving them, and half of the marks are for free body diagram. So that much importance is there. So as I told you, from unit 1 to unit 6, we are going to use this concept. And if you are capable of drawing free body diagram for any problem, so then it's quite easy to qualify in the examination. But if you want to get good marks, just learn the concept, okay, and try to solve on problems on your own. So if you are good at that, so just this is a problem based subject. It needs practice. If you are good at practice, definitely you will get complete marks even in the end examination, right? Okay. So let us go to the concept of free body diagram. Let us see the guidelines. How to draw free body diagram. Let us see the guidelines. Okay, first let me explain with the help of an example how it will be. A simple example. So here there is a roller, right? So this is called as space diagram. So manki conditions ani ee diagram lo untayi. So this is space diagram. So ikkada roller ki manam free body diagram draw cheyali or sphere ki free body diagram draw cheyali. So draw cheyalante మనం ఏం చేయాలి? First we need to remove all the contact surfaces. So దీనికి కాంటాక్ట్ లో అంటే ఇంకా ఏం చేయాలంటే ఈ రోలర్ ని తీసుకెళ్లి మనం సెపరేట్ గా డ్రా చేయాలి. And next we need to represent the real forces and reaction forces. So real forces ఏమున్నాయి? వెయిట్. ఇక్కడ వెయిట్ ని Q అని రిప్రజెంట్ చేశాడు. సో తిమ్షెంకో టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో వెయిట్ కి రిప్రజెంటేషన్ Q ఉంటది, W కాదు. ఓకే. సో ఇక్కడ వెయిట్ Q యాక్టింగ్ వర్టికలీ డౌన్వర్డ్స్, రైట్? Q యాక్టింగ్ వర్టికలీ డౌన్వర్డ్స్. అండ్ ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ how many restrictions are here? E is one restriction, F is one restriction. సో ఎందుకంటే మనకి వర్టికల్ వాల్ ఉంది కదా, సో ఇట్ సైడ్ మూవ్ అవ్వలేదు, లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ మూవ్ అవ్వలేదు x డైరెక్షన్ లో. ఇక్కడ E ఉంది కదా, సో ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో మూవ్ అవ్వలేదు, రైట్? So whenever there is a restriction, there you need to represent reaction, right? So the free body diagram of this roller will be like this. So first weight represent chesa Q vertically downwards. Okay, always weight acts vertically downwards through center of gravity. This is important point. So manam first free body diagram draw cheyagane first represent cheyalsindi entante weight. Okay, next దాని మీద టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ యాక్ట్ అవుతుందా, కంప్రెసివ్ ఫోర్స్ యాక్ట్ అవుతుందా? సో ఇక్కడ ఏమి అవ్వలేదు, సో అందుకని మనం అవి రిప్రజెంట్ చేయాలి. సో ఇక్కడ F దగ్గర కన్సిడర్ చేస్తే లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ నెగిటివ్ ఎక్స్ లో మూవ్ అవ్వలేదు, సో దానికి ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ అంటే పాజిటివ్ ఎక్స్. సో పాజిటివ్ ఎక్స్ లో సో మనం రియాక్షన్ ఫోర్స్ అట్ F కదా, సో అందుకని RF ఇలా వేసాం. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ ఈ దగ్గర ఈ డౌన్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో మనకి మూవ్మెంట్ లేదు, సో రిస్ట్రిక్షన్ ఉంది, సో అందుకని ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ లో సో దట్ ఈస్ RE. ఓకే, so this is all the reactions will pass through center. Okay, and they are opposite directions, opposite in direction to the constraint, and they are perpendicular to surface. ikkada E anedi inclined undi, so daniki perpendicular ga R is ikkada ee wall vertical ga undi, daniki perpendicular ga ante horizontal ga force chesam. Okay, so this is one example for free body diagram. So this is the free body diagram for the roller, right? Any doubts?
No, sir.
No,
Okay. Let us see the guidelines for drawing free body diagram. Later we can see the examples. So now the time is 1:34. So I will continue up to the possible extent. Okay. Remaining portion we can see in next class, right? So first thing you need to represent is weight. Whenever we consider any object, okay, so there are objects which are having less weight, negligible weight. So there you need not to represent weight, but most of the times 99%, so there will be weight. And if you consider the weight, always it acts vertically downwards through center of gravity. Okay, whether the object is on horizontal plane or inclined plane. Remember, you need to represent the weight vertically downwards. So if you want to draw free body diagram, first draw the particular object separately, whether it is a rectangular block or a roller, whatever may be the case. So you are going to draw the object separately. Later, you are going to represent the weight, and the weight should act vertically downwards. W you are going to represent vertically downwards. And second one you are going to represent is tensile force. Suppose your friend comes to you and she pulls your hand away from you. What is the force exerted on your body? Nothing but tensile force. The force is acting away from your body, right? So if a force acts away from the body, so then that kind of force we call it as tensile force. It is nothing but a pulling force. So మీ నుంచి ఎవరన్నా pull చేస్తున్నారు అనుకోండి. So that is nothing but tensile force. ఓకే సో మనం ఇచ్చిన ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో సో ఇచ్చిన ప్రాబ్లం లో సో ఏదైనా టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ సపోజ్ ఏ ఫోర్స్ ఈజ్ యాక్టింగ్ అవే okay from the object that may be 30 newtons inclined at 45 degrees. So you need to represent the same value in the free body diagram also. And next, compressive force. If a force is acting towards the object, then that force we call it as compressive force. It is nothing but push. So someone pushes you, so then what will happen? So that is nothing but compressive force. If a force is trying to push, okay, or if it is directed towards the object, so then that kind of force we call it as compressive force. If an object is subjected to compressive force, so then you need to represent that one even in the free body diagram. So this is the third guideline you need to remember. And next, reactions at smooth surfaces. Okay, so when we consider reaction at smooth surfaces, there what you need to represent is, so whenever there is a surface to the object, so that means the object is going to be restricted by means of those surfaces. Suppose ఒక వర్టికల్ వాల్ ఏమైనా ఉంది, అదొక సర్ఫేస్ ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేయడానికి, లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో వెళ్ళకుండా ఉండడానికి ఇందాక మనం చూసినట్టు. ఓకే, సో ఆ కేసులో మనం ఏం చేసాం, ఒక రియాక్షన్ రిప్రజెంట్ చేసాం. సో హౌ దట్ రియాక్షన్ ఈస్ perpendicular to surface and towards the object. If you consider the earlier example, so here ikkada roller undi, so idi ela undi, vertical ga undi. Okay, wall vertical ga undi, so roller ee direction lo move avaledu kabatti ee surface daggara manam em chesam, opposite direction lo RF ila represent chesam. Okay, how the reaction is perpendicular to wall and how it is towards the object, right? So you need to remember this, the reaction should be towards the object and it should be perpendicular to the surface contact. Drawing reaction is very important, and I did mention here smooth surface. That means I did not consider friction here. So ఒకవేళ friction consider చేస్తే ఎలా ఉంటుందని మీరు నన్ను అడగొచ్చు. So that one we will discuss in unit number 2. So we have the separate concept friction. So అక్కడ మనం డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. Until then we consider these as smooth surfaces. Until unless it will be mentioned there is a friction, so we consider all the surfaces as smooth surfaces, right? So that's about reaction force. And next, forces in link rods or connecting rods. So rods lo, so oka ball ki rod eda connect ayi undochu. So next two balls majna rod connection undochu. So alanti cases lo, so అందులో tensile force ఉండొచ్చు, compressive force ఉండొచ్చు. So when we consider a rod, it may can experience tensile force or compressive force. So మనం ఏం చేస్తాం అంటే ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేసేటప్పుడు, so we will assume that there is a tensile force acting in the object. సో అది కంప్రెసివ్ ఫోర్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, యాక్చువల్ గా మనం మాత్రం టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ అని అజ్యూమ్ చేసుకుని చేస్తాం. ఇఫ్ వి గెట్ పాజిటివ్ వాల్యూ, వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? అవర్ అజంప్షన్ is correct, so it is a tensile force. If we get negative value for while we solve the answer, what does it mean? There is nothing wrong. If you get negative value, that means it is a compressive force. అందులో ఉన్న బార్ లో ఉన్న యాక్సియల్ ఫోర్స్ నెగిటివ్ వాల్యూ వస్తే, సో మనకి అది కంప్రెసివ్ ఫోర్స్ అని, పాజిటివ్ వాల్యూ వస్తే టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ అని. మనం మాత్రం టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ అని అజ్యూమ్ చేసుకుని చేస్తాం. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ఫోర్సెస్ ఇన్ లింక్ రాడ్స్ ఆర్ కనెక్టింగ్ రాడ్స్. నెక్స్ట్, ఫోర్సెస్ ఇన్ కేబుల్స్, స్ట్రింగ్స్ ఆర్ కార్డ్స్, రైట్? సో మీ మొబైల్ చార్జర్ వైర్ ఉంటుంది కదా, సో దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ అ స్ట్రింగ్. సో వెల్లో వాటర్ వేసి తీస్తారు కదా, so everything, string means nothing but like a wire. So when we apply compressive force, it won't be able to experience. You can try it. సో ఒక హ్యాండ్ లో ఒక ఎండ్ పట్టుకోండి చార్జర్ కేబుల్ ది, ఇంకో హ్యాండ్ లో అదర్ ఎండ్ పట్టుకోండి. సో దాని మీద కంప్రెసివ్ ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేయండి. సో ఏ రియాక్షన్ ఉండదు. సో చార్జర్ వైర్ కి ఏం కాదు. సో మీ బ్రదర్ కి ఒక ఎండ్ ఇవ్వండి, సో మీరు ఒక ఎండ్ పట్టుకోండి, సో గట్టిగా లాగండి. సో అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, సో యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు అప్లై టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్. వాట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్, సో టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు సో మీ బ్రదర్ గట్టిగా లాగి మీరు గట్టిగా లాగితే సో మధ్యలో బ్రేక్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో బై ద అప్లికేషన్ ఆఫ్ టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ what will happen, so it will be experiencing that force, but when we consider compressive force, it is not experiencing any such kind of force, right? So that means string can experience only tensile force. ante manaki strings lo only tensile force maatrame exist avutundi, compressive force anedi undadu. So whenever you see a cord or string, so just you are going to represent without any hesitation, just you are going to represent tensile force only, right? So you can represent tensile force only in the string, right? Next, tension in cables either side of a smooth pulley. సో ఇలా ఒక పుల్లి ఉంటుంది. సో ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎలా అంటే, సో ఓల్డెన్ డేస్ లో ఇప్పుడు ఎవరో యూజ్ చేయట్లే, వెల్స్ లో ఒక ఇలా పుల్లి ఉండేది. సో ఒక ఎండ్ లో బకెట్ కట్టేవాళ్ళు, సో ఇంకొక ఎండ్ లో సో హ్యాండ్ తో ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసి సో వాటర్ లిఫ్ట్ చేసేవాళ్ళు. సో ఇక్కడ మనం ఒక ఎండ్ లో ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసి సో ఇంకొక ఎండ్ లో సో బకెట్ లో వాటర్ ఉంటుంది కదా, సో ఈ రెండు ఈక్విలిబ్రియం లో ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, అది మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే, సో ఇక్కడ మీరు 14 న్యూటన్స్ అప్లై చేశారంటే యాక్చువల్గా ఈ బకెట్ వాల్యూ 14 న్యూటన్స్ అనుకోండి, ఇక్కడ మీరు 14 న్యూటన్స్ అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు మాత్రమే ఇది ఈక్విలిబ్రియం లో ఉంటుంది. సపోజ్ మీరు ఇక్కడ 15 న్యూటన్స్ అప్లై చేశారనుకోండి, ఏమవుతుంది, సో ఈ బకెట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో సో అది పైకి మూవ్ అవుతుంది. సపోజ్ ఇక్కడ మీరు 10 న్యూటన్స్ అప్లై చేశారు, ఇది 14 న్యూటన్స్ అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, యువతల వెయిట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది కదా, సో ఇది డౌన్వర్డ్ మూవ్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో హియర్ వాట్ యూ నీడ్ టు రిప్రజెంట్ ఈస్, సో ఇలా ఒక పుల్లి ఉంది, సో దీనికి అవతల ఒక స్ట్రింగ్ యువతల ఒక స్ట్రింగ్ ఉంది అనుకోండి, సో ఈ రెండు ఈక్విలిబ్రియంలో ఉంటే ఇది 14 న్యూటన్స్ అయితే డెఫినెట్ గా ఇది కూడా 14 న్యూటన్స్ అవుతుంది. ఒకటి 14 న్యూటన్స్ అయితే డెఫినెట్ గా ఇంకోటి 14 న్యూటన్స్ అవుతుంది. స్ట్రింగ్ ఎక్కడైనా మనకి కనిపిస్తే సో అందులో టెన్సైల్ ఫోర్స్ వేస్తాం. సో ఈక్విలిబ్రియం లో ఉందంటే ఇలా టూ కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రింగ్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు బోత్ వాల్యూస్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్. So these are the guidelines you need to remember while drawing free body diagram, right? So total 7 guidelines. So you need to remember all these. Very important. This concept is very important, and I have done a video on free body diagram 2 parts chesanu. So meer adi watch cheyochu. Okay, so na channel lo untadi. So అందులో ఇంకా ఎక్కువ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఇచ్చి చెప్పాను. సో ఒకసారి అది చూడొచ్చు కావాలనుకుంటే. సో మనం ఫర్దర్ క్లాసెస్ లో ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ సాల్వ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు మీకు అర్థం అవుతుంది ఫ్రీ బాడీ డయాగ్రామ్ ఎలా డ్రా చేయాలని. నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ సాల్వ్ చేస్తాం. సో నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ యూనిట్ 1, యూనిట్ 2, యూనిట్ 3, సో అన్నిట్లో సో మనం ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. సో దట్ మచ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్, రైట్? సో ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూద్దాం. సో ఈ బాడీకి ఫ్రీ బాడీ డయాగ్రామ్ డ్రా చేస్తే ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఒక రెక్టాంగులర్ బ్లాక్ ఉంది, అది ఒక హారిజాంటల్ సర్ఫేస్ మీద ఉంది. కెన్ ఎనీవన్ టెల్ మీ హౌ మెనీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్సెస్, టోటల్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్సెస్ విల్ యాక్ట్ ఆన్ దిస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్?
2 forces.
2 forces.
2 forces. Very good. So what are those 2 forces?
Weight and force from the surface.
Normal.
Yes, that is called reaction force, right? Weight and reaction force. So when we consider weight, how do it acts? Vertically downwards, right? And when we consider reaction, so here this block can move in left hand side direction, right hand side direction, and in upward direction also, but it is not able to move in downward direction. Why? Because floor is the restriction. Okay, ground is the restriction. So ground లేకపోతే ఫ్రీగా డౌన్వర్డ్ కూడా మూవ్ అయ్యేది. సో మనం ఏం చేస్తాం అంటే ఈ బ్లాక్ ని సపరేట్ గా డ్రా చేసి, సో వెయిట్ we will represent vertically downwards, as it is not able to move in downward direction, in the opposite direction, and that too perpendicular to surface, we will represent reaction. Actually it is normal reaction. Okay, as the reaction is normal to the surface, that means perpendicular to the surface, so we call it as even normal reaction also, or simply you can reaction. Okay, normal reaction anchu leda reaction anchu. You can represent n or the letter r, so you can use any letter. సో n అనేది సో మనం ఫ్రిక్షన్ ఉన్న కాన్సెప్ట్ లోనే వాడదాం నార్మల్ రియాక్షన్. సో టు డిఫరెన్షియేట్ ఫ్రిక్షన్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అండ్ ద రిమైనింగ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ లెట్ us కన్సిడర్ r హియర్. ఓకే, ఫ్రిక్షన్ ఉన్న కాన్సెప్ట్ లో మనం నార్మల్ రియాక్షన్ n అని పెట్టుకుందాం. సో ఇక్కడ నార్మల్ గా రియాక్షన్ r అని వాడదాం. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ one example. Let us consider another example. So there is a roller A on a semicircular profile. So A ki free body diagram draw cheste, how many number of reactions will be there?
2.
Yes, very good. Two number of reactions will be there. One is weight and another one is reaction vertically upwards. Why? Because it can move vertically upwards. Left hand side direction ఇలా ప్రొఫైల్ మీద ఇలా స్లైడ్ అవ్వగలదు, ఇలా రైట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ డైరెక్షన్ కూడా ఇలా స్లైడ్ అవ్వదు, కానీ డౌన్వర్డ్ వర్టికలీ డౌన్వర్డ్ అయితే రాలేదు. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ వై the free body diagram will be like this. Weight acts vertically downwards and reaction in the opposite direction perpendicular to surface, and it is normal to the surface and it will act towards the body. ఓకే, సో మనం ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇంకా డిఫరెంట్ కండిషన్స్ వస్తాయి. సో అప్పుడు మనం ఫ్రీ బాడీ డయాగ్రామ్ ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ వాటికి అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు, సో నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ సాల్వ్ చేసినప్పుడు మీకు అర్థం అవుతుంది. సో లెట్ us see types of supports. First one, roller support. Roller support means any object supported by rollers. సో ఇప్పుడు హాస్టల్లో ప్లేట్స్ అని వేసి మూవ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు ఒక వెహికల్, చూసారా?
Yes, sir.
సో దాని కింద రోలర్స్ ఉంటాయి.
Yes,
సో
sir.
రోలర్స్ వలన ఇట్ ఈస్ క్యాపబుల్ ఆఫ్ మూవింగ్. ఓకే, సో వన్ వి కన్సిడర్ రోలర్ సపోర్ట్, సో రోలర్స్ ఏమవుతాయి? సో దే ఆర్ క్యాపబుల్ ఆఫ్ మూవింగ్ ఇన్ హారిజెంటల్ డైరెక్షన్ ఓన్లీ. సో లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ మూవ్ అవ్వగలరు, రైట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ మూవ్ అవ్వగలరు. సో మనం పైకి కావాలంటే లిఫ్ట్ కూడా చేయగలం, బట్ డౌన్వర్డ్ మూవ్ అవ్వలేదు కదా. సో వన్ వి కన్సిడర్ దిస్ రోలర్ సపోర్ట్, ఇట్ కెన్ మూవ్ ఇన్ లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ డైరెక్షన్, రైట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ డైరెక్షన్, బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు మూవ్ ఇన్ డౌన్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్. So whenever there is a restriction, there we need to represent a reaction. So మనం దీనికి ఫ్రీ బాడీ డయాగ్రామ్ డ్రా చేస్తే రోలర్ సపోర్ట్ ఉన్నాయి వాటికి, సో ఓన్లీ ఒక రియాక్షన్ ఇలా వస్తుంది. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ రోలర్ సపోర్ట్. సో సింబాలిక్ రిప్రజెంటేషన్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఒక రోలర్ పెడతాం, లేదంటే ఇలా డ్రా చేసి కింద రోలర్ బాల్స్ ఇలా పెడతాం. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ రోలర్ సపోర్ట్. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ వన్ ఈస్ హింజ్డ్ సపోర్ట్. దానికంటే ముందు హింజ్ అంటే ఏంటో చూద్దాం. సో ఎవ్రీ హౌస్ వీ యూస్ దిస్ హింజ్, రైట్? సో మన హౌస్లో డోర్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, డోర్స్ దగ్గర మీరు ఇలాంటి ఎలిమెంట్ చూసే ఉంటారు. సో డోర్కి డోర్ ఫ్రేమ్కి కనెక్షన్ దీంతోనే ఇస్తాం మనం, వీ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ హింజ్. సో దీనివల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే డోర్ హారిజెంటల్గా మూవ్ అవ్వదు, వర్టికల్గా మూవ్ అవ్వదు. సో మనం ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే రొటేట్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ హింజ్. సో మనం డోర్కి నెక్స్ట్ డోర్ ఫ్రేమ్కి కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాం. సో ఇది హింజ్. సో దీనివల్ల రోటరీ మోషన్ వస్తుంది. సో whenever you find a hinged support, సో ఇలా ఉంటుంది. సో దీనివల్ల ఈ బార్ ఇలా రొటేట్ అవుతుంది. సో whenever you find a hinged support, what you are doing there, you are going to restrict the motion in x direction and y direction. సో మీరు 2 డైరెక్షన్స్లో రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి 2 రియాక్షన్స్ రిప్రజెంట్ చేయాలి. One along horizontal direction, one along vertical direction. Later what we can do, so this reaction and this reaction parallelogram law use chesi r is equal to square root of fx square plus fy square ala resultant kuda find out cheyochu, right? So whenever you find a hinged support, you need to represent 2 reactions. Whenever you see a roller support, you need to consider one reaction, right? Next, simply supported beam. Oka beam, ఓకే, సో మన ఇంట్లో మీరు చూసే ఉంటారు పిల్లర్స్ ఉంటాయి, వర్టికల్గా ఉండే వాటిని హౌస్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు వర్టికల్గా ముందు కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తారు కదా. సో దస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ ఎస్ పిల్లర్స్. అండ్ ఆ రెండింటిని కనెక్ట్ చేస్తూ హారిజెంటల్ మెంబర్ ఒకటి కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తారు, దాన్ని బీమ్ అంటాం. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ ఎ బీమ్ ఈజ్ సపోర్టెడ్ బై రోలర్ సపోర్ట్స్ లైక్ దిస్, హౌ మెనీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ రియాక్షన్స్ డూ ఎగ్జిస్ట్? సో రోలర్ సపోర్ట్ దగ్గర వర్టికల్ ఒక రియాక్షన్, సో ఇక్కడ ఒక వర్టికల్ ఒక రియాక్షన్. సో ఫ్రీ బాడీ డయాగ్రామ్ బీమ్కి ఇలా ఉంటుంది. సో ఫస్ట్ బీమ్ డ్రా చేస్తాం, ఏ దగ్గర ఒక రియాక్షన్, బి దగ్గర ఒక రియాక్షన్, రైట్? లైక్ వైజ్ ఫర్ క్యాంటిలివర్ బీమ్. సో ఇక్కడ హింజ్ సపోర్ట్ ఉంది కదా, సో ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే హింజ్ సపోర్ట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు 2 రియాక్షన్స్ వేస్తాం, రోలర్ సపోర్ట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఒక రియాక్షన్ వేస్తాం. నెక్స్ట్ బిల్ట్ ఇన్ సపోర్ట్ అంటే క్యాంటిలివర్ బీమ్. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో కాల్డ్ యాజ్ క్యాంటిలివర్ బీమ్. సో ఒక్క బీమ్ తీసుకెళ్ళి హాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ద పోర్షన్, కొంచెం పోర్షన్ మనం వాల్లో పెట్టేసాం అనుకోండి, సో దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ బిల్ట్ ఇన్ సపోర్ట్. సో ఇక్కడ మనం రోటరీ మోషన్ రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం, వర్టికల్ మోషన్ కూడా రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో యూ విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ వర్టికల్ రియాక్షన్ అండ్ మూమెంట్ ఆల్సో. సో ఇది ఫర్దర్ క్లాసెస్లో డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం, మీకు తెలుస్తుంది, రైట్? హోప్ యూ ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ టుడేస్ సెషన్. We have gone through the basics again. So basics ani complete అయిపోయిన తర్వాత అప్పుడు ప్రాబ్లమ్ బేస్డ్ పార్ట్కి వెళ్దాం, రైట్? ఎనీ డౌట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ టుడే సెషన్?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.